Hello guys, and welcome back to Reborn with Michael Watson. Today we're talking about overcoming yourself. How do we keep overcoming ourselves until we get to the point where we truly believe in our future and we fall in love with the future more than we're addicted to the hormones and stresses of the past? Well, this is what we're going to dive into today, and I want to keep it really simple because at the end of the day, with any technique, people, when they're really in need of something and really desperate for something to happen, they actually sort of overcomplicate things because they want to see it happen now. They want what they need to be here now. You know, the first thing I want to tap into on this is that this is about having infinite patience. Actually, there's a great teacher called Wayne Dyer, and he says having infinite patience is when you manifest so much quicker. And it's like paradoxical because we're taught to believe, well, why can't I see it yet? But if you can be so relaxed and so chilled, and I'm going to talk about how we do that today. But basically, infinite patience. So just take that as your first step here. So the overcoming process, what do I mean by it? So basically, in your day-to-day life, sometimes you're going to have reactions to your outer environment, and you always will with human beings. Sometimes something's going to annoy you. For example, Dr. Joe Dispenza says you can't get up from a meditation, feel blissed out, connected whole, and then suddenly be flipping someone off on the freeway because they've cut you up, you know? So basically it's that again, isn't it? And it's all about saying, I'm going to live in that state of being. So when someone does take me there, rather than reacting, I want to notice it and overcome it. Another one of the wonderful testimonials of a woman who cured herself from cancer said she started to see the people who were pushing her in that way as her little lessons of how to overcome herself. So the second step there is I want you to reframe it in your mind that they're not annoyances, stresses, worries. It's another chance to learn, another chance to grow. So we need to remember that it's about growth rather than about sort of getting anything in particular. I do have to say, sometimes in my videos here, just to give you a little giggle, I live here in Spain. The flies in Spain for some reason like to dance on everyone, so you may now and then see me shake my head erratically out of nowhere. But so continuing that one, so that's one lesson that I can do to overcome. Look, there's one there. Don't let it annoy me, just overcome it, laugh about it. So the other step there is actually we need to be a bit more playful in life. You see, life is not as stressful as we need it to be, you know, as we make it out to be. Don't get me wrong, when you're going through some of these sort of pains and struggles, I'm with you. I understand you're in a highly stressed situation when you first tap into this. But what you need to teach and learn yourself is that we need to be able to laugh at things a little bit more. Laugh it off. I tell you, me and my wife at the moment, we very much try to sort of have a giggle in a scenario that would usually make us reactionary. The beauty of laughing about that is that laughter is a form of medicine almost. It sort of releases the sort of hormones of happiness and joy. And it means that you're in a relaxed, cheeky, joyful place. If you end up doing my 30 days higher vibe course, which is going to be linked in the description, and I'll put it in a comment, that is one of the first things I say. You need to approach the work with cheekiness, fun and joy. So if we're trying to live a life of joy, if we were joyful, we'd find things funny, wouldn't we? So that's another place. Now, really getting into it deep of how to overcome. Basically, one simple technique that I like to do. This is the simplest one. And I take this technique from Michael Singer. Fantastic, awoken, sort of mindful. He wrote the Surrender Experiment. He sort of, he doesn't really evoke manifestation in his work. But, you know, he says that when you get out of the way of the universe, it seems to work for you. So let's think about that. So when we feel like we're about to react, the main thing you want to do is you want to take a deep breath. Imagine sitting back from the moment. So you just imagine sitting back. In your mind, you're sitting back, taking a back step from it. You breathe, you relax your shoulders, and you just relax for a moment. From that point, the energy created, which is going to start usually in your lower centers, is going to rise up through the body and release. Okay? It's going to release, and you're going to let go of it. Once you get to that point where you're able to release and let go, then you can start to put into your mind that which you want. So you start to then create an emotion within you through affirmation or through visualization. So the overcoming process is more about being so aware, so conscious that you're not reactionary to your life. Rather than going to, like, say for example, you expect to see 500 in your bank and you go there's only 10. Rather than going off the rails, screaming, shouting, blah, 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 breathe, relax, let it go. Say, God is my infinite supply. All my needs are met at this moment and every moment. I have more than enough. Let go, surrender. You have to almost sort of ignore that which you don't want to place your focus on what you do want. And all I'm trying to say to you guys out there who are struggling with overcoming, you just have to become so conscious, so aware of your triggers that you start to sort of overcome them more and more. Over time, you're going to notice that they become less of a trigger for you. It becomes easier to overcome. Like anything, you're training yourself to only sort of focus and put your energy on that which you want to have, do and be. When you do that, you only put energy in the direction of the life you wish to create. If you think about life as, and sort of existence as a ball of energy that's became matter. Yeah, so basically energy creates matter. We know this. E equals mc squared, right? So if energy creates matter and we focus our energy in the direction of that which we want, we're going to start putting energy into creation, into matter. The last point I want to put out there is, if you're in a state of stress, which is a reactionary state to something that you don't want, you're going to not be in your creative field is going to diminish. So anything that you want to create, that you're working towards, you diminish the power of that creation. So what do we do instead? So your main thing is to focus on joy, happiness, fun, laughter. And then from that place, will take the actions that you need. If you need to meditate 3 times a day, do it. If you need to affirm 1,000 times a minute because you keep having absolute thoughts of lack, then you affirm the opposite. Whenever a thought of lack or lack of wholeness or anything comes up, you affirm the opposite, or you visualize the opposite, until that momentum changes in the direction of that which you want. I hope that makes sense, you guys. Thank you so much. And do please like, share and subscribe. And if you need some extra one-to-one help, you can come on my website, michaelwatsoncoach.com, where I have many online courses and you can work one-to-one with me. I hope you have a fantastic day. Please share this with someone who needs to hear it, and all the love and joy and light in the world. I am sending it to you now. Thank you so much. Take care. God bless. Goodbye.